Hi guys, this one's gonna be super chill in my bedroom, and we're gonna do a little Q&A assumptions mix of sort. You know, the thing that YouTubers do when they don't have an idea for a video. That's what we're gonna be doing. I actually asked about some questions and such like a week ago maybe, because I knew there would be a point where this would happen and I would need quick footage because I'm a little bit behind. So basically, some of these are a little bit juicy. Some of these are things I've probably never talked about before, and we're just gonna be real. So sit back, relax, throw on a funny hoodie. Mine says, "I do not do drugs, I am drugs." That's fun. I think it says it on the back too. Yeah. Okay, so I have some screenshots here of some questions and assumptions I will be talking about, and we're gonna have some fun. First question, when are you thinking you want kids? I got a couple questions related to this. Ever since I was young, I always said that I wanted to have kids when I was younger. Like, I wanted to start having kids at like 22 or 23 because I want to have 2 or 3 kids and I want to be done by like 27. Well, I am now 23 and not even married, not even engaged, and I definitely do want to be married before I have kids. That's just a personal preference. So at this point, I don't really know. I'm 100% ready to be married and start having kids. Obviously, Zachary is not ready for that yet, and I'm trying not to rush him. So the timeline at the moment is kind of completely up to him. But as far as for me, I'm ready, girl. I'm ready now. Do you think there's someone out there for everyone? I would say yes. I don't know, I guess. Like, I don't think that anyone is meant to just be alone for their whole life. So I'm gonna go with yes, I do believe there's somewhere out there for everyone. I think it is just all about timing. Maybe you're supposed to be alone for half of your life and you're not supposed to meet someone until, you know, you've fully discovered yourself or whatever the case may be. I've never really like thought about it. I would just say instinct answer would be yes. I think there's someone out there for everyone. So maybe don't look for it, let them find you. Focus on you until that happens. Next, do you have any embarrassing or regrettable drunk stories? Probably not embarrassing or regrettable, and honestly I don't drink really. Like, I do, but very, very rare, and it's always like a sociable setting to where like everyone is together and that's kind of the goal for the night, is to drink. I'd say my one like fun story I have of me drinking is actually the first time I had ever drank. We were in Vermont for a wedding, and of course it was like an open bar, so we were like, okay, cool. So like, it was my first time ever drinking. I was with Zachary and his family, and it was super fun. I honestly did not drink a lot. I probably had 2 or 3 drinks. It was a wedding, so there was a dance floor and everything, and I got up and I learned the Cotton Eye Joe dance. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you can just imagine it, I guess. But I got up and I learned that dance after watching everyone do it like for 20 seconds because past dancer vibes. And I got up and I did that dance in front of all of these people that I had just met that day, of course with other people on the dance floor. But I don't know, in the moment I was like having so much fun and I wasn't embarrassed at all, but looking back on it, I'm like, I probably looked a little bit silly not knowing what I was actually doing. It's really the only story. I could give you a bunch of stories about Zachary, but that's his business and I will leave that to him if he ever wants to share those. This one's a little bit just for the girls, so boys, click off. This one says, have you ever had sex on your period? Do you have any gross period stories? To answer the first question, no, I've never had sex on my period. It scares me a little bit. I don't want to deal with the mess. I'm scared of that. Anyway, moving on. Gross period stories, not really. I feel like I just am like the average girl when it comes to my period. I do get really bad cramps. I wouldn't consider that gross though. Sometimes they are so bad to the point where I literally throw up. It just happened my last period. I was driving home from work. I actually had left early because I was feeling so bad. I was driving home. I had to pull over on the freeway to throw up because the pain was so bad. There's your fun story for you. Gosh, being a girl is so hard. Let's do some assumptions. Someone said, you were super nice in high school, but now my assumption is you're more quiet and keep to yourself, but I could be wrong. I would say yes. I don't know if I can really say I keep to myself because hello, I literally have a whole YouTube channel where I just share my life on the internet. But I would say as far as like in real life, in person, I do keep to myself a lot. Truth be told, I don't really have friends outside of work or the internet. And then I have some like old high school friends that I chit chat with every now and then. But other than that, I don't really, I guess I'm really not like a sociable person to say I really spend all my time with Spike and Zachary and we see our family like all the time. That's really it. So I guess that would be an accurate assumption, is that I am pretty quiet and I do keep to myself majority of the time. That's just how I like it. I'm very much an introvert, so I do gain energy from being alone. I love my alone time. I thrive off of it. Early mornings by myself are my absolute favorite way to spend my day. Another assumption related to the kid ones. Nowadays, couples get married and start families so young, but you're not in a rush to have kids. False. True and false. I already touched on it, but I feel like yes, people do get married young, but I think that's always been a thing, and I think we're just realizing it now because we're that age. We're like, holy crap, our friends are getting married and they're having kids. But I think it's always been around, and like I said, it's always something that I've personally wanted. I always wanted to get married at like 21, have kids at 23, you know, and then be young with my kids, be like that young mom. I don't know, I just always have wanted that, and I still do. So like I said, waiting on Zachary for that one, but not in a rush, but at the same time, like I do want to get going. I don't know, that's just the timeline I've always seen for myself, and of course, like it doesn't always work out the way that you want it to, but that is the timeline I'm kind of still trying to stay on track with. There's some better lighting. Positive side to like not fully being the way I wanted it to be is that we are really focusing on our finances right now. And with that being said, we're going to be moving into like buying more houses and stuff like that. And I think it would be hard to focus so strictly on our finances while also trying to like start a family and get married and stuff. Like, just seems like that would be so much going on at once. So we're trying to find like a happy medium, I guess, to like do one thing first and then the next, and the timeline will play out how it will play out. And of course, you guys will be there every step of the way. I share everything. Whether we buy another house first or we get married first, we'll find out, right? You'll see when I see, I guess. More assumptions. You and Zachary look like you get along perfect all the time, but I'm not always sure about it. True. I would say we're just like a typical couple where like we get along 95% of the time, and then we have our arguments and we have our ups and downs, but nothing out of the ordinary. We do get along very well. I feel like we click all the time, and most of the time we're on the exact same page. We're like basically reading each other's minds, and like, I don't know, our vibes are just like always very close. But of course we have our down times, or we have times where we're just irritating each other and we just like need space, or sometimes you just get angry at each other and you have to let it out and you talk through it and you're back to normal. That's just how relationships work, and if you disagree, you're wrong. Healthy relationships have issues and you work through them, and it makes them healthier. Next assumption says you're not high maintenance, but you have high standards for your life and what you want. Absolutely true. I might even say I am a little bit high maintenance, but I always grew up basically having whatever I wanted, and I wouldn't say in like a spoiled way, but in a way that like I never didn't have anything that I needed. I always had whatever I needed, and there would be, of course, chances for me to like go buy something I wanted or be like, hey mom, can I have this? And then she would say yes. Like, I feel like I was very happy medium between like very spoiled and like just having what I needed. I feel like I don't know, I grew up happy and I grew up good, I guess. So with that being said, I don't want to let go of that. Like, I don't want to have to go from like having everything I need to then be like struggling to get what I need. So I've always made it a priority to work and be in the right position to be able to have the stuff that I want and I need. And I think looking on it now, like as an adult and thinking about having kids, like I want my kids to live the best life possible and have everything that they need. So of course, in order for me to provide that, I have to get myself up higher first, if that makes sense. I hope I'm making sense. So yes, I do have high standards for my life. I want to be extremely successful. Zachary and I want to be extremely successful together and individually, I would say. And we both work very hard and have very high goals for that. And we push for that, and we are always striving. So I think that is a very good assumption, is that we do have high standards. Like I just talked about wanting to own multiple properties and stuff and having a family. I want to be a stay-at-home mom, and in order to do that, like I feel like we have to have a very good steady income first, and we just have lots of goals, and I love working towards those goals, seeing things come to life in front of us. Like I never would have thought we would have purchased a house at 21 and 22 years old, and we did it, and a pandemic hit the world 3 months later, and we have been fine, and I am so blessed and thankful for that. But I also do have to attribute that to the fact that we've worked our asses off and we did it for ourselves. So there's good things coming, and I love it, and I will always have high standards. That will never change. Okay, the last question is a little bit juicy, and I don't think I've ever talked about this. We'll see if I even put this in the video. The last question says, have you ever been attracted to girls? LOL, just trying to ask some juicy questions. I will be vague and say that I did have relations with a female in high school. I think that's all you need to know. I don't think I am like into women. I'm 98.99% sure. It was kind of uncomfortable for the both of us, actually. We've talked about it since, and I don't know, you try things out, and if they work they do, and if they don't they don't, and you learn things from it. So juicy. Okay, that's all the questions and assumptions that I have. Hope you enjoyed them and learned a little bit about me. A little insight to my life. But thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.